Before you learned what the world was, you learned how to move through it. Not consciously, not deliberately, through correction. You were shown what to say, what not to say, how to act, how not to act. Not as rules. These were expectations that carry the weight of approval, disapproval, acceptance, and rejection. This is where the process begins. Not with control, with adjustment. You are not forced into the system. You are shaped to fit it. Gradually, subtly, repeatedly. You speak, you are corrected. You react, you are redirected. You express, you are refined. And over time, you begin to anticipate the correction. This is the shift. You no longer wait to be told. You adjust yourself. Before anything is said, this is the first adjustment. This does not feel like loss. It feels like learning, like development, like becoming functional. But something is happening beneath that. You are not just learning how to exist. You are learning what version of yourself is acceptable. And anything outside of that is reduced. Not always violently, but consistently. A look, a tone, a response. Enough to signal, not that. This is how behavior is shaped. Not through force, through repetition. From your earliest interactions, family, school, authority figures, you are guided toward what is allowed, what is rewarded, and what is ignored. And over time, you begin to narrow. Not because you choose to, but because it works. This is the mechanism. You do not become yourself. You become what is reinforced. And what is reinforced is not neutral. It exists within a structure, a system, one that was already in place before you entered it. The nervous system becomes conditioned toward emotional intensity instead of emotional stability. Movies reinforce fantasy structures. Television reinforces performative romance. Social media amplifies curated relationship imagery constantly. The individual begins comparing direct life to emotionally exaggerated narratives. This creates chronic dissatisfaction. Real relationship contains silence, routine, growth, imperfection, and patience. But media romance often removes those elements and replaces them with constant stimulation, dramatic conflict, idealized attraction, and continuous emotional climax. The nervous system adapts accordingly. The person unconsciously begins expecting performance instead of presence. This changes relationship entirely. People begin loving the feeling, the fantasy, and the performance more than the actual human being in front of them. This is why so many relationships collapse once stimulation decreases. The emotional structure was built around performance, not direct relationship. This is where approval systems become self-reinforcing. The individual constantly monitors, am I attractive enough? Am I interesting enough? Am I lovable enough? Am I desired enough? The relationship slowly becomes evaluation, comparison, and performance management instead of shared grounded presence. This creates emotional exhaustion quietly. People become addicted to attention, validation, romantic stimulation, and external affirmation. Because the original emotional structure was built around conditional affection. The individual fears if I stop performing, love disappears. This fear often remains hidden, but it shapes behavior, identity, communication, and self-worth. This is why so many people remain trapped inside relationships that require emotional performance constantly. Not because they are weak, because the nervous system learned early connection depends on maintaining approval.